You still don't think this planet is full of strange mysteries? Check this out then.
Australia, more popularly known as the Land Down Under, is known to be a place with the most bizarre creatures and rich culture. No wonder it's a treasure trove of the most outlandish discoveries. From surprising creatures to 300,000-year-old cave art, here are the 20 strangest things recently discovered in Australia.
Australia.
Number 20. Ancient lizard-like species. One of the first few words that come to mind whenever Australia is mentioned is wildlife. As such, let's begin with the discovery of a strange lizard-like species. Earlier this year, experts discovered lizard-like species that roamed the region around 247 million years ago. Originally, the fossilized remains of this creature were discovered by a retired chicken farmer's keen eye in New South Wales. Mihaildis was simply fixing a broken garden wall with a hefty 1.6-ton slab of sandstone when prehistory peered back at him. Within the stone's layers lay the imprint of a then unidentified ancient being. After unearthing the relic, Mihaildis contacted the Australian Museum in Sydney. By 1997, experts were already trying to learn more about the discovery. However, it wasn't until 25 years later that the truth behind the fossils was revealed. By luck, another well-preserved and nearly complete skeleton was discovered, allowing researchers to finally put an end to the decades-old mystery. Through careful study, researchers found out that the remains belonged to an amphibian, a salamander-esque figure that was later named Erinapeton supinatus. This carnivore was once part of Sydney's lush freshwater environments, belonging to the resilient Temnospondyli family, known survivors of 2 global mass extinction events. It's a notable addition to Australia's paleontological record, with only 3 other Temnospondyli fossils identified in the country.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now.
Number 19. Giant trapdoor spider.
Of course.
Now, arachnophobes?
Of course. We couldn't visit Australia without hearing about some spiders. It's never possible.
This fossil just might be your biggest nightmare. This spider is as big as your hand. Recently, researchers discovered a massive creature that solidified Australia's diversity. The discovery is a significant milestone. It marks only the 4th spider fossil found on the Australian continent. It represents the very first fossil of the trapdoor spider family Barichellidae found worldwide. Experts named the spider Megamonodontia mccluskii, quite fitting for a behemoth that lived some 11 to 16 million years ago. At nearly an inch in length, Megamonodontia mccluskii may not seem colossal, but it's an impressive size for a spider, particularly when considered alongside its modern relatives. Its presence in the fossil record speaks volumes. It suggests a time when similar species might have flourished across Australia, only to vanish as the climate shifted and forests gave way to desert sands. I guess that's a good thing for all of us who are incredibly horrified by arachnids. Now, while I say this, I just want to leave a gentle reminder. Spiders are tiny, and if you ever find one in your home, you might just want to pick up the little fella and let it free outside. Chances are that little fella is just as horrified as seeing you as you were upon seeing it. Number 18. World's largest plant. In the crystal-clear waters of Western Australia's coast lies an underwater marvel scientists hailed as the world's largest living plant. It's a seagrass known as Posidonia australis, and it's not just sprawling, it's monumental, stretching over 112 miles in the heritage-protected waters of Shark Bay. Imagine something so vast that it could bridge the gap between San Diego and Los Angeles. That's the expanse we're talking about. But what's hard to fathom is the fact that the entire expanse might look like a large forest, but in reality, it's just a single plant, a clone of itself that has spread its roots for centuries. By using DNA sequencing on samples from various points across this submarine giant, experts discovered that the entire meadow was just one seagrass, cloning itself over and over. The secret to its mammoth size? It's got twice the chromosomes, 40 instead of the usual 20. This genetic twist might just be how it has mastered its environment, thriving in saltier water and withstanding wild temperature swings. Just imagine seeing this entire expanse in person. It might be an incredible sight to see. Number 17. Min lights. Deep in the vast domain of the Australian outback, an enigmatic spectacle has puzzled observers for over a century, the Min lights. These mysterious orbs of light are known to appear suddenly to travelers at night, floating over the flat horizons near the small town of Bolia, Queensland. What makes these lights so captivating is their erratic behavior. They can move rapidly across the sky, change colors, dart away, and approach people before disappearing without a trace. Several theories have tried to unravel the mystery of the Min lights. Some suggest they're a natural phenomena, a kind of mirage where lights from distant towns or cars get refracted.
I don't know. That sounds a bit extraterrestrial to me. That sounds like UFO activity. And it's just, I don't know, whether y'all have gotten used to it all of a sudden and it doesn't bother y'all. How long has this been going on? Like, no, that's not normal.
Refracted through layers of air at different temperatures. Others propose more unconventional explanations, ranging from bioluminescent insects to geological activity releasing phosphorescent gases. Yet science has not been able to provide a definitive answer, and so these lights remain a source of lore and legend. Stories from indigenous Australians and early European settlers describe these lights with a blend of respect and wariness, often attributing them to spirits or omens. To this day, the truth behind this phenomena remains unknown. Number 16. Hot pink slug in Mount Caputar. It's not hard to see this creature. It's quite surprising that we've only recently learned about them. Tucked away atop an extinct volcano in New South Wales are these neon pink slugs. They appear so surreal that it's difficult to believe they actually exist. Measuring a whopping 20 centimeters in length, these creatures are incredibly eye-catching. They flourish happily almost 5,000 feet above sea level on the volcano near Narrabri. They're known as the Mount Caputar pink slug, in honor of the place where they're found. These neon natives were only recently discovered, and their secluded lifestyle has kept them under the radar, until now. The slugs share the unique ecosystem with other remarkable species, such as the Caputar hairy snail and the Caputar cannibal snail, all part of a dozen species that may soon see their home recognized as Australia's first land snail habitat to be declared an endangered ecological community. Now, these creatures are neither venomous nor poisonous, but researchers believe that the striking pink hue must be a way for these creatures to camouflage against the fallen snow gum leaves. Regarding humans, most people wouldn't dare touch these slugs unless someone is extremely determined. Number 15. Thorny Devil. The Thorny Devil, or Moloch horridus, might just be one of the most bizarre and fascinating creatures to trek the arid landscapes of Australia. Covered from head to toe with an armor of intimidating spikes, this small lizard has evolved a remarkably unique way to survive the harsh desert environment. It collects water in the dry desert by channeling dew and rainwater from its skin directly to its mouth, a neat survival trick that's as efficient as it is unusual. The Thorny Devil's peculiar appearance, coupled with its harmless nature and slow waddling gait, makes it an endearing curiosity among Australia's diverse wildlife. Number 14. The Yowie. Venture into the heart of Australia's prehistoric past, and you might stumble upon a creature reminiscent of Bigfoot. Described as a large, hairy creature walking on two legs, this elusive being is Australia's answer to the cryptids of the world. Accounts of the Yowie vary widely, with some describing it as shy and reclusive, and others as a fearsome predator. Reports detail an ape-like creature standing up to 12 feet tall, with a pronounced brow, deep-set eyes, and an intimidating presence. While definitive evidence of its existence remains as shrouded in mystery as the creature itself, the Yowie has been a persistent figure in Australian folklore. Number 13. Giant earthworm. It seems like there's just no end to the creepy crawlies that reside in Australia, because here's another, a giant earthworm. This creature was spotted by researchers in the rolling grasslands of Victoria. Known as the Gippsland earthworm, these creatures can grow up to a staggering 6.5 feet, and it's easy to call them monsters. However, as big as they are, they're harmless, and they don't have anything that could harm humans. However, these creatures were originally discovered by railway workers who first mistook their lengthy bodies for a snake, and ever since, these guys have captivated onlookers not only with their size.
I can definitely see how you can mistake that one there for a snake. That is, and trust me, I used to go with my dad to dig bait to go fishing with. You know what I mean? I've never seen jokers that size like that. Never.
But also with the bizarre sounds they make. A gurgling noise as they move through the wet earth that's been likened to water escaping a draining bathtub. Railway workers weren't prepared for such an encounter when they stumbled upon the earthworm in Gippsland, taking their find to the University of Melbourne, where experts chronicled the giant earthworm in the annals of zoological literature, noting its status as the largest known of its kind. What sets Megascolides australis apart from over 1,000 other native Australian earthworms is its size and unique habits. It spends its life underground, coming up only when heavy rains make its home uninhabitable. But even more fascinating is the sound they make, those gurgling sounds that fill the air, produced by the worm's movements within the moist confines of its burrow. These humongous worms have a life cycle as grand as their size. They're hermaphroditic, meaning each worm has the ability to contribute sperm to its partner, and they reproduce within the safety of their subterranean homes. But they do so with patience, producing only one precious egg cocoon annually. When born, the young worms are already a foot long, and with a growth rate of half a foot per year and a lifespan of about 10 years, their growth is a slow but impressive journey. Unfortunately, time hasn't been kind to these giants. With the spread of agriculture and its accompanying chemicals, their once broad range has been reduced to a scant 150 square miles at the continent's southern edge. Conservationists in the country have been urging people to treat the soil with respect, to consider it as precious and as delicate as our own homes, in the hopes that the Gippsland earthworm will continue to thrive rather than become just another extinct creature. Number 12. 10-foot eagle. Over 60,000 years ago, the land of Australia was graced by this incredible creature, a bird of prey with a wingspan stretching an incredible 10 feet. It wasn't until recently that the fossils shed light on their existence. These creatures were then known as the Dinotoetus gaffae, resembling the contemporary giant Philippine eagle and the harpy eagle of South America. If it were still alive, it would have been a top predator, its robust leg bones indicative of a life spent hunting large prey, such as juvenile megafauna, or even kangaroos. It shared its ancient habitat with the still-present wedge-tailed eagle, although it was nearly double in size and prowess. Experts hailed this giant as a capable hunter. After all, its impressive talons could spread up to nearly 12 inches.
I bet 10 foot. Think about that. You know they say your wingspan, if you hold your arms out, that's pretty much your height right there. Your wingspan, right? None of us are 10 feet, or maybe y'all are, I just don't know. But anyway, think about that. 10 feet? Fam. He picking up humans, not just little cats and rabbits and different little animals and stuff. He picking up humans.
Size of the talons and the strength it possesses, this creature has enough strength to carry a kangaroo.
See?
Imagine that. For reference, a grown kangaroo can weigh up to 200 pounds. Now, why exactly did such a monstrous creature go extinct? Experts believe that the extinction of this giant eagle might have been closely linked to the demise of these large prey species, reflecting a common theme in extinction events. The loss of one species can dramatically impact or even end the existence of others dependent on them. Researchers hope to learn more about these creatures. Many are hoping that more fossils will be discovered soon. After all, such knowledge could shed light on the interactions between Australia's ancient species and their habitats. Number 11. Platypus. Tucked away in the riverbanks of eastern Australia thrives a creature so distinctive that when Europeans first encountered it, they believed it was a hoax. The platypus, with its duck-like bill, beaver-like tail, and otter-like feet, is a mammal that defies conventional classification and continues to fascinate both scientists and wildlife enthusiasts. This probably isn't the first time you've heard about the platypus. Well, these creatures are among the strangest creatures in Australia. They lay eggs, usually 1 to 3 at a time, and these eggs hatch after approximately 10 days. One of its most distinctive features is its duckbill, which is remarkably sensitive to touch and covered in electroreceptors. This specialized bill allows the platypus to detect the electrical signals of its prey while foraging in the water. Apart from their appearance, platypuses differ from many mammals because they lack a stomach. Instead, they have gizzard-like structures that aid in grinding up their food, contributing to their efficient digestion. Interestingly, another thing that makes it unique is the male's venomous spur on its hind foot, capable of delivering a painful sting to potential predators or humans should they get too close. So if you see one in the wild, don't try to pet them, no matter how adorable you think they look. Number 10. Giant metal cylinder. Recently, researchers were puzzled when they arrived at the serene shores of Greenhead Beach in Western Australia, where a giant metal cylinder was found. The mysterious object was washed ashore by the ocean. The local cops told everyone to keep their distance from this mysterious chunk because, well, nobody knew what it was or where it came from, and it could be dangerous. After all, it's better to be safe than sorry. But of course, that didn't stop people from guessing. Some were whispering about aliens. Others were tossing around ideas about it being a piece of that missing Malaysian flight MH370. With such an intriguing discovery, it's easy to speculate and think about wild theories. However, before the news got more sensationalized, the police and experts from the Australian Space Agency decided to clear up any misunderstanding. They claimed that the mysterious cylinder just might be something ordinary. More specifically, it's just another piece of a rocket from somewhere else in the world. So this big, odd-looking cylinder turned the beach into a bit of a space exhibition, and everyone got a kick out of it. It's not every day you see a piece of space equipment on your local beach. Number 9. Mary River Turtle. The Mary River turtle is a remarkable species from the Mary River in Queensland, Australia. This freshwater turtle is noted for its unique physical characteristics and behaviors, making it one of the most unusual reptiles in the world. Now, doesn't this creature look like a sentient being? One of the most striking features of the Mary River turtle is its green mohawk, which is not actually hair, but rather algae that grows on its head due to the extended periods it spends submerged in water. This algae-covered shell and head serve as an effective camouflage, blending the turtle seamlessly with its surroundings. It's also one of the main reasons why it's unique. Besides its punk rock hairstyle, the Mary River turtle possesses an extraordinary respiratory system. Unlike many other turtles, this species can breathe through specialized glands in its cloaca, an orifice used for extraction and reproduction. The turtle's evolutionary history is as fascinating as its appearance. It belongs to a group of reptiles that diverged from other species around 40 million years ago, making it a living representation of a line of ancient creatures. Despite its intriguing attributes, the Mary River turtle faces significant threats to its survival. It's listed as an endangered species due to habitat degradation, pollution, and the illegal pet trade. Conservation efforts are in place to protect this unique turtle, which is an integral part of the river's biodiversity. Its survival is crucial not only for the environmental health of the Mary River, but also for the preservation of one of the world's most distinctive reptilian species. With how wonderful these creatures look, isn't it easier to protect them? Number 8. 30,000-year-old cave art destroyed by vandals. Recently, vandals defaced the ancient indigenous cave art of Cunalda Cave, a sacred and protected site revered by Australia's Mirning people. The Ice Age artwork in the cave, illustrating some of the earliest evidence of Aboriginal life in the region, was irreparably damaged. Archaeologists knew about the delicate nature of the cave's surface, stressing that any attempt to erase the graffiti would result in the loss of the precious art beneath. The art held great significance for the Mirning people, representing a unique cultural record and being acknowledged as a National Heritage Site in 2014.
They're going to regret it later on in life when they mature and realize and start asking questions and wondering why we don't have answers. Bro, they don't understand. And some of them just be, they don't get it, man. But doing things like this will erase us ever getting a lot of answers to the questions that we have about our history, fam.
It
makes no sense.
To reach the cave's interior, the perpetrators bypassed a steel gate installed in the 1980s, a barrier Walsh noted had become insufficient over time. This breach has caused dismay among the Mirning people and experts, who all wanted to protect the cave art that has been preserved for tens of thousands of years.
Right.
There were plans, reportedly in the works for months, to fortify the site's defenses, including the proposal to set up security cameras for live monitoring, a plan that, if in place, might have prevented the act of vandalism. Unfortunately, it was too late. It's still incredibly hard to fathom just why some people would vandalize a site that's almost considered a national treasure just for the fun of it. Hopefully, no other important and cultural sites in the country will get defaced. Number 7. Deep-sea demon shark. Between 1989 and 2011, strange eggs were discovered in Australian waters, but it wasn't until recently that the mystery was solved. These eggs had unique T-shaped ridges, not seen on any other shark eggs in Australia before. After further research, researchers discovered that the eggs belong to a new species of demon cat shark. These creatures are recognized for their distinctive glowing eyes. For so long, the identity of these creatures has been a puzzle to researchers. After matching the newly discovered eggs to an old collection, experts connected the dots and realized both eggs belong to a similar species. By studying both, scientists hope to further learn how the shark species evolved. Number 6. Fungus that absorbs and secretes gold. Most of the time, fungus is a pesky microorganism that inflicts disease on people. Still, in 2019, researchers in Western Australia stumbled upon a curious phenomenon, a fungus that adorns itself with gold. The discovery was not just another fungus, but one with the ability to attract and bind gold particles from its environment, effectively clothing itself in a fine coat of the precious metal. This particular type of fungus, identified as Fusarium oxysporum, could produce a chemical reaction using superoxides to dissolve gold, which was then secreted and congealed into solid gold particles visible on the fungus. Theory suggested that the gold might provide an evolutionary advantage. Observing that gold-coated fungi grew larger and faster than those without gold exposure, there were speculations that the presence of such fungi could also signal gold deposits beneath the soil, raising the possibility that fungi could be natural indicators of precious metals below. If this proves to be accurate, then perhaps it'd be easier for us to detect these precious metals in the future. Number 5. 40-million-year-old flies. In 2020, a discovery from Monash University's School of Earth, Atmosphere and Environment in Melbourne made headlines as scientists unearthed some of the oldest fossils ever found on Australian soil.
Makes me think about Jurassic Park, the movie, when they had found those mosquitoes with the blood from the animals they done sucked the blood out of, and they used the DNA and extracted and brought back dinosaurs. That's what it makes me think of.
No one expected that these fossils, among the preserved remains, were a pair of 41-million-year-old flies caught in amber during their mating ritual. Now, amber is a substance renowned for its ability to capture and hold organisms while wonderfully preserving them. Amber alone is something that's considered a rare find in the country. So this find, comprising 5,800 pieces of amber with inclusions, was nothing short of extraordinary. Aside from flies, other organisms were also discovered well preserved in the amber. Experts are hoping to learn more about the ecosystem that existed in Australia through these discoveries, particularly about the insects that flourished in the area. Number 4. Thylacine. This creature might look like a cryptid, but just like the platypus, this once roamed the land of Australia. More commonly known as the Tasmanian tiger for its striped back, the thylacine was a marsupial predator, which, despite its canine-like appearance, was more closely related to kangaroos and koalas than to any wolf or tiger. With the last known thylacine dying in captivity in 1936, this creature has since slipped into the realm of extinction. However, it's the peculiar nature of its disappearance and the sporadic claims of sightings that have kept the legend of the thylacine alive. The thylacine was native to Tasmania, Australia, and New Guinea, and was the largest known carnivorous marsupial in modern times. It's known for its jaw, which could open to an unusual extent, and its stomach, which could distend to accommodate large meals, a trait uncommon in large predators. These unique features contributed to the thylacine's reputation as one of Australia's strangest creatures. While it's officially classified as extinct, there have been ongoing reports and claims of thylacine sightings in the world, stirring intrigue and hope that the species may still exist, hidden in the remote parts of Tasmania. These accounts have sparked numerous expeditions and scientific surveys aiming to find proof of the thylacine's continued existence. Number 3. Oldest known meteor crash site. In Western Australia, amidst the dry domain of the outback, lies evidence of the Earth's oldest known meteorite impact site, the Yarrabubba crater. Geological studies have determined that the site, which is not visibly apparent due to the erosion of time, dates back an astonishing 2.229 billion years. This just might be the oldest exposed land you'll ever see. Researchers studying the area have used samples from the minerals in the region, particularly zircon and monazite, to pinpoint the age of the impact. These minerals often contain traces of uranium, which decays into lead at a known rate, allowing scientists to use the ratios of these elements as a reliable dating method. The Yarrabubba impact structure is slowly being worn away after years of erosion. The crater the meteorite created might be slowly fading over time. However, its value remains. Experts suggest the meteorite collision may have significantly influenced the Earth's climate. The impact would have vaporized the ice and released massive amounts of water vapor into the atmosphere, potentially contributing to the breaking of a snowball Earth period, where global temperatures rise and ice cover decreases. Who knows what other discoveries may come to light in this region as time goes on. Number 2. Megashark. In 2018, experts were baffled when they stumbled upon a glistening fossil poking out from a rock. Upon closer inspection, they realized it was a massive tooth sticking out of the sand. It was so big that researchers had a hard time grasping how large the creature must have been when it was still alive. Subsequent research revealed that it wasn't just any fossil, but a 7-centimeter long tooth belonging to a behemoth from the deep, the great jagged narrow-toothed shark, also known as Carcharicles augustidens. Now, we've all heard of the great white shark, but imagine something nearly twice its size swimming in the ocean depths. That's what we're talking about here. This ancient shark was the stuff of marine legends, stretching up to almost 30 feet long. What's more surprising is that when researchers returned to where they found the fossil, they discovered not one, but 40 more individual teeth. Now, this makes this discovery quite unique. After all, finding multiple teeth from the same prehistoric shark is like finding a needle in a haystack. That's because sharks drop teeth, regenerating new ones almost daily. One thing is for sure, these creatures were much more ferocious than the great whites we see today. Number 1. Hipposized wombat. Imagine wandering the ancient grasslands of Australia and stumbling upon a creature that would make today's red kangaroo look like a mere wallaby. Well, that would be pretty terrifying. It turned out that millions of years ago, particularly during the Pleistocene epoch, a massive creature known as the Diprotodon roamed the grasslands of Australia. This ancient marsupial stood at the staggering height of 6 feet and weighed 6,000 pounds. Not every day you hear about a marsupial that could easily outweigh a small car. But again, this is Australia we're talking about. This ancient animal was more than 200 times the size of its modern-day cousins, the wombat and the koala. Now just imagine if these creatures still had the size of their ancestors. Even if they had hope, these creatures only snacked on greenery. They munched on around 330 pounds of leaves and shrubs daily, basically like one of us eating a small forest for lunch. They probably hung out in groups near water or where the grass was greenest, away from the hills and closer to the flatlands. Predators did lurk around, but it was mainly the little ones that had to watch out for marsupial lions and the occasional hungry crocodile. But such was life in the wild old days of Australia. What's more surprising is that indigenous Australians actually lived alongside these behemoths. Sadly, the Diprotodon didn't stick around, leaving behind just bones and questions. Was it the drought, human hunters, or perhaps the change in landscape due to fire farming practices?
Maybe they evolved into something else that we see on the planet these days. Like, what does that look like to y'all right now? I don't know. I don't know what family I can link it to. You know, it doesn't give off like a bear, maybe a hippo, something like that maybe. I don't know, but maybe it evolved.
That led to their downfall. What could have driven these giants to extinction? We're yet to know. These finds easily showcase just how wonderful Australia is. But we're just scratching the surface. So if any of you guys have been to Australia, or perhaps lived there in the land down under,